Good morning. We will pay attention to transactions with debtors and when goods are sold in the subsidiary journals and ledger when the periodic inventory system is used. In the debtors journal, we will only have one sales column and we will not have a cost of sales column because we don't use a cost of sales in the periodic system. The totals in the sales column will be posted to two accounts in the ledger to complete the double entry. We will debit debtors control to increase the amount that the debtors owe, and we will credit the sales account to increase the income. In the debtors allowances journal, we will not have a cost of sales column again, but we will post the total in the debtors allowances and we will debit debtors allowances to decrease the income of the business, and we will credit debtors control to indicate that they owe less money. In the cash receipts journal, we received money from the debtors. For instance, we received 400 Rand, allowed 40 Rand discount, so we will decrease the debtor with the amount received and the discount. Received 1,440, discount is 144, and we will decrease the debtors with 1,584. When we post this to the ledger, we will debit the bank account to increase the money in the bank. We will credit sales to increase income. We will credit debtors to show that the account decreases because assets decrease on the credit side. And we will debit discount allowed because discount is an expense and expenses increase on the debit side. If we add the amounts on the debit side, the bank amount and the discount amount, and we add the figures on the credit side, then the debits and the credits will be exactly the same to indicate that we've completed a double entry. If a check of a debtor is returned due to insufficient funds, we will cancel the check in the cash payments journal. When we receive the money, we recorded it in the cash receipts journal, so we have to cancel it in the cash payments journal. And in the cash payments journal, we will only record the amount on the check. In the cash payments journal, we don't have a discount allowed column, so the discount allowed will be cancelled in the general journal. And we will indicate that P power will be debited and we will debit debtors control to increase the amount that the debtors owe us. Discount allowed will be credited to decrease the original discount that was allowed, because if the check comes back from the bank, we will not give them discount anymore. In the cash payments journal, I will credit the bank account because the bank reduces when we pay money out of the bank. Purchases is the expense, so purchases will be debited. Creditors control will be debited because we decrease the amount that we owe to the creditors when we pay them. Debtors control will be debited because they owe the money to the business again. If we take all the amounts that we record on the debit side, it will equal the amount that we recorded on the credit side. We can decide to charge the debtor with interest. That means that we will increase his account. We don't receive the money immediately, so you can't record it in the bank. You have to show that they owe you an additional 10 Rand, and that 10 Rand will be interest for the business. That's an income that will increase the profits. If we decide to write off the debt of a debtor because they can't be found or they are insolvent and we will not get the money from them, we have to reduce the debtors on the credit side to show that they don't owe this money anymore, and we will increase bad debts on the debit side because bad debts is an expense. When we post the entries to the ledger, in the debtors control is an asset, so we will increase assets on the debit side and decrease assets on the credit side. When we sell goods to them, the debtor owes more money, so we will record the sales on the debit side. If the debtors return goods, we have to reduce their account on the credit side, so we will credit them and debit debtors' allowances. If we receive money from the debtor, we have to reduce their account on the credit side, and we will reduce their account with the amount that we received from them and the discount that was allowed. This is very important to write bank and discount allowed, because this 2024 will not only be posted to one account on the debit side. Some of that money will go to the debit side of the bank account, and some of the money will go to the debit side of discount allowed. If this check is dishonored, it means that the debtors owe us the money again, so the debtors must increase on the debit side with the amount on the check that was dishonored, and we will indicate that this will increase the bank on the credit side. We will post it to the credit side. This entry will be recorded in the cash payments journal. For the discount that we allowed when we received the money, we also have to cancel, so we will increase the debtors on the debit side with the discount and indicate that discount allowed account will be credited with the 40 Rand. If we decide to charge the debtor with interest, it means that we want to increase the amount that the debtors owe us, so we will record the amount on the debit side to increase the balance of debtors, and we will credit interest income. If we write off bad debts because someone's debt must be written off, we want to reduce the outstanding amount of debtors. We reduce debtors on the credit side with 400 Rand, and we will debit bad debts account. At the end of the month, we will add up the biggest side, subtract the smaller side to determine what is the balance. If we look at the debtors control, this is an asset, so the debit side must always be bigger than the credit side because a debtor always have a debit balance. Therefore, we will add up all the amounts on the debit side, get a total of 3090. Then we will subtract all the amounts on the credit side from the 3090 to determine what is the difference between the debit and credit side, and that balancing figure is then 333. That is my balance that I will take down to the next month, and on the opposite side to indicate in July that we start with an outstanding amount of 333. After we entered this 333 on the credit side above the total, and I add up all the amounts up to the total now, it will give me the same total as the total on the debit side. In the bank account, we will record total receipts or sundry accounts on the debit side. On the credit side, we will record total payments or sundry accounts to indicate that assets increase on the debit side and decrease with the payments on the credit side. Then we will subtract the credit side from the debit side. So we will say 5640 minus 4676 to determine what is the balance, and that balance will be brought down on the opposite side below the total for the next month. All the other accounts will be posted from the journals to the ledger accounts. The only difference between the periodic and perpetual inventory system is that you will have a purchases account instead of an inventory account, because in periodic we don't write in our inventory account. So purchases is an expense that will increase on the debit side. Then if we look at all these accounts, we see that there's no cost of sales account, because we don't use a cost of sales account in the periodic system. Sales is reduced with debtors allowances. Therefore, debtors allowances will always be on the debit side to reduce the sales amount that was on the credit side. In the debtors ledger, we will open an account for every debtor, and all the individual entries with that debtor will be recorded in his personal account. Debtors increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. When we sell goods to them, we will record the invoice and the number, indicate that it was recorded in the debtors journal. When we sell goods, the debtor owes more money, so we will debit their account, and then their balance or outstanding amount will be 900 Rand. If they return goods, we will issue a credit note, and we will also indicate the number. This was posted from the debtors allowances journal. We want to reduce this debt, so we will credit them with 243. The new balance is then 900 minus 243. That will give me 657. When we sell goods again, we will indicate that invoice 92 was issued. It was recorded in the debtors journal. It increases the balance of the debtor. So the new balance will be 657 plus 990, and that will give me 1647. When they pay, we issue a receipt as proof of payment. In the cash receipts journal, we reduce the account on the credit side, so the balance will be 1647 minus 1440, and that will give me 207. We will also record the discount that was allowed on the credit side, and it is recorded on that same receipt 40 in the cash receipts journal. The discount was 144 Rand, so the balance is 207 minus 144, and that will give me 63 Rand. In the account of power, we will also indicate that his account increased with the sales, his account decreased with the credit note, decreased with the money that he paid and the discount, and then his check was returned by the bank due to insufficient funds. So we have to cancel these two entries when we received money from him and allow discount. When we received the money, it was recorded in the cash receipts journal. So now we will record it in the cash payments journal, dishonored check, and we will show that his account increases now with 400 Rand again. The discount will be cancelled in the general journal, so our details will be journal, and we will increase his account on the debit side. We charge his account with interest, so we will again do this in the general journal and increase his account on the debit side.